Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is worksheet 6, and it's just a good review of a lot of the topics to get you guys ready for the quiz. All right, so let's get started here. This is our key. All right, so find the 45th term of -3, -7, -11. First thing you got to recognize that it is arithmetic, and d is equal to -4. And a sub 1 is equal to -3. So it's pretty easy, right? A sub 45 is a sub 1, -3, minus d, or plus d, so minus 4 times 45 minus 1. Okay, so a sub 45 comes out to be -179. Pretty easy. Number 2, given the arithmetic sequence, so give you a sub 20 is 75, and a sub 34 is 187. Find a sub 50. So the first thing I want to do is, shrink this down. I always kind of said you're going to subtract 19 from that a sub 20 and get a sub 1. So we can use our formula basically, is 75. And I can do the same thing here, subtract 19. So I get a sub 15 is 187. And my goal here is really to find the value of d. So now I have 187 equals 75 plus d times, and then we're using that 15 minus 1. So I get basically 14d. I subtract and I get 112 and divide by 14. So d comes out to be 8. Now I'm going to use this guy, and I'm going to use d is equal to 8. And I'm going to find a sub 50. So a sub, and I'm not doing a sub 50. I'm finding what? A sub 31, right? Because I subtract 19 from that as well. Okay, so so it's really a sub 50, you kind of put in parentheses, but it's a sub 31 is equal to 75, because that is our a sub 1, right? That's our new a sub 1, plus 8, because now we have our value of d, times 31 minus 1. Okay, so a sub 31, or really a sub 50, so I'll put both 31 and 50 is equal to 315. Okay, so just kind of be careful, but you have to kind of shrink it down to really get an a sub 1 so you can use the formula. All right, let's keep going here. Find the sum of the first 30 terms of the sequence. Well, first of all, you have to recognize that it is arithmetic, because basically I'm subtracting 5, right? -1 minus 4, -6 minus a -1, etc. So I know my d is equal to -5. In order to find the sum, you need a sub n. You need that last term. So let's find the 30th term. That's what we're doing here. So I need a sub 30 is a sub 1, which is 4 minus 5. That's d times 30 minus 1. So a sub 30 is -141. And now I can plug it into a nice friendly formula. The extremes, so it's 4 plus, so it's -141 over 2 times 30. Okay, and type all it in. I get -2055. Okay, given the sum and a sub 42, find the first term and d. So it's just you're given the sum, so you got to use that sum formula. Sum formula. No, the sum formula. So it's 3192 equals a sub 1 plus the last term, 158 over 2, the average of those, times n, which is 42. And I'm just solving for a sub 1 now. So, just got to do a little bit of work. A couple things you can do, right? I can just cancel this out. This is a 1 and this is a 21. And I can divide everything by 21. And I get a 1 plus 158. There are a lot of ways to solve it, but you guys are good. That gives us 152 if I divide 3192 by 21. And then I subtract 158, and I get a sub 1 is -6. So that's the first part. And the second part is then to find d. Well, if I have a sub 42 and I have a sub 1, it's easy. You just say 158 a sub n is equal to -6 plus d times, and then we're using 42 minus 1. So I add 6 and I get 1 64 is equal to 41d divided by 41. D comes out to be 4. Okay, that's it. All right, let's keep going here. Number 5, given the following sequence and S of n, find the number of terms. So that's n. This is going to be a nice factoring problem or polynomial problem, okay, which you guys can use. So basically, it's got 4773 is equal to a sub 1, which is 3, plus a sub n, which I don't know, over 2 times n. So the problem is where I got two variables, but I can come up with another equation. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus d, which I know is adding 7 times n minus 1. So I simplify that, and I get 7n, that's 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So a sub n is 7n minus 4. And then I basically plug that into that. Right there, right? So I get, let me move it over here a little bit, 4773 equals 3 plus 7n minus 4 over 2 times n. So I'm going to just combine some stuff, and I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, so I get, get rid of that 2 in the bottom, and I get 9546. And that equals 7n minus 1 times n. So I get 9546 equals 7n squared minus n. Move the 9546 over, so 7n squared minus n minus 9546 equals 0. Okay? And then, I mean, you could definitely factor that. That'd be kind of brutal, but you can use your polynomials on your calculator. And if you're not really sure how to use that, you can go to my website. You can actually go online. I'm sure you can find a YouTube video, but I did a video myself. And you go to my website and you go to ACT practice, and it shows you some different things with the calculator. And one is polynomials. Okay, so you got it comes up with two answers, and the one that you're going to use is n is equal to 37, because that is the only natural number that is given. The other one is not a natural number. Okay. Not bad. So this next one is showing you like basically recursive formulas. So it's saying a sub 1 equals 2 times the previous term minus 4. Well, if I find a sub 2, it's 2 times the previous term minus 4. So it's negative 38. So a sub 3, 2 times the previous term. Well, that's negative 38 minus 4. It gives negative 80. And then a sub 4, 2 times the previous term, which is negative 80, minus 4, which is negative 164. Okay, pretty easy. Number 7, you're using the previous term and the one even before that. So it's a sub 3, so my next term is 3 times the one before it, minus 4 times the one before that. So basically 15 plus 12 is 27. So a sub 4 is 3 times the one before it, which is 27, minus 4 times the one before that, which is the 5 there. So 3 times 27 minus 4 times 5 is 61. And then a sub 5, 3 times the previous term, which is 61, minus 4 times the one before that, which is 27, and I get 75. Okay, not bad. Number 8 is create both a recursive formula and a general term, which is your a sub n, no solution required, given the following sequences. So what you're doing is first of all, you got to figure out what it is. It's definitely geometric, because if I say 4 divided by negative, or 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5, negative 100 divided by 20, negative 5, so it's geometric, where r is negative 5. And of course, a sub 1 is negative 4. So let's do a recursive, because that's what we're asking for first. Please do not forget a sub 1. If you forget that, I will take 1 point off. And then you're saying, well, a sub n is, I'm multiplying the previous term by -5. So -5 times a sub n minus 1. Here we go. That's it. That's recursive. That's like really, really easy. Okay, and then general term is the same, almost the same thing though. You have to use that nice little friendly formula: a sub n equals a sub 1 r to the n minus 1, and then just plug it in. So a sub n equals a sub 1 -4 times r, which is -5 to the n minus 1. Oh, that's it. We're done with the problem. Okay, pretty easy. Create a recursive formula for following, given the following sequence. So this is when you have to kind of recognize it's 3, 1, 3, 3, 9, 27. So certainly not adding something or multiplying something by the previous term. So you want to look at two terms. And sure enough, if I multiply 3 times 1, I get 3. And then if I look at the second and third term, 1 times 3, I get 3. 3 times 3, I get 9. 3 times 9, I get 27. So really what you're doing is you're multiplying the two terms before it to get to the next term. So recursively, make sure you tell me a sub 1 is 3 and a sub 2 is 1. And then you're going to say a sub n is the one before it times 2 before it. And that's your answer. Okay? Not too bad. Number 10, find the 10th term. If you divide this out, you will recognize that this is geometric. So r is -1/3. So a sub 10 equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Okay, make sure you put lots of parentheses in there. Use your fraction button. A sub 10 is 4 over 65/61. All right, number 11, given a sub 7 is 18, r is 1/2, find a sub n. So basically this is the general term here. And then once you find that, you just put a 12 in there and you find your 12th term. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I need to find a sub 1 for this problem. That's the main thing here. So, you plug it in. Let me just write out here. It's a sub n equals a sub 1 r to the n minus 1. So plug it in. A sub n is 18 times a sub 1 r, which is -1/2, to the n minus 1. So it's to the, this is n right here, 7 minus 1. Okay? And so if I multiply that out and then I divide 18 divided by that nasty number, I get a sub 1. Just got to practice it there. It's 1152. So my general term, a sub n, is a sub 1, which is 1152, times -1/2 to the n minus 1. Okay, that's your general term. It's really pretty easy. And then a sub 12, of course, then just plug it in. 1152, -1/2 to the 12 minus 1. And you wind up getting, with your fraction button, a sub 12 is -9 over 16. Okay? Number 12, so I'm giving you a sub 3 and a sub 6. So it's kind of one of those deals again where you want to do a kind of a temporary. A sub 1 is 6 over 25, and a sub 4 is -162 over 3125. Truly what I'm trying to find here, math fans, I'm trying to find r. You actually don't need to shrink that down. It's just a good idea because we use the formula then, and that's a good idea to do that. So that's why I'm doing it that way. But let's find r, right? So we got -1. Looks kind of nasty, but that's why you have a nice friendly calculator. 3125 is equal to a sub 1, 6 over 25, times r to the n minus 1. So it's to the 4 minus 1, or to the third power. So if I cross multiply, or multiply both sides by 6 or 25 over 6, I wind up getting r cubed is equal to -27 over 125. And then it does come out nicely. I take the cube root. Careful, it's negative, so it's not plus or minus. It's r is equal to -3/5. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then if I want to find a sub 1, please don't write that down. That's not a sub 1. It's like a temporary. We just plug it in, and I'll use this a sub 3. So 6 over 25 equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So it's to the 3 minus 1. And then again, I kind of multiply it out and everything, and I wind up getting a sub 1 is equal to 2/3. Okay? Given this information, find n. So basically it's a sub n, which is 32 over 729 equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So the first thing I'm going to do, please don't multiply 3/4 times 2/3. That's like really bad algebra. You're going to multiply both sides by 4/3. Because that's in parentheses and you can't do anything with that right now. So if I multiply that out, I get 128 over 2187. Doesn't really simplify too nicely. And that equals 2/3 to the n minus 1. Okay? And then I take the log of both sides, if you guys remember that. And that's a little nasty, but that n minus 1 then comes up in front. And then, just because it's going to take a lot of writing here, I divide both sides by log of 2/3. Make sure you use lots of parentheses. Okay? And if I divide that out, I get 7. So I get n minus 1, right? There's my n minus 1 that's in front. N minus 1 is equal to 7, so n equals 8. And that's your answer for that one. Okay, 14, define the sequence by the nth term. So again, that's pretty easy. The first thing you do is make sure it is geometric, because it certainly can't be arithmetic. And if I divide, sure enough, r comes out to be 7/10. Kind of nice. All right, then it's easy. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. There we go. That's it. Okay. 15. Find the sum of the first 8 terms. So if I divide that, I find out this is geometric. So r comes out to be 3/4. So s sub 8, the sum of the first 8 terms, is 17 over 3 a sub 1 minus a sub 1 times r, which is 3/4, to the 8th power to the n power, over 1 minus 3/4, 1 minus r. Okay? Again, lots of parentheses on top, parentheses on the bottom. You know, that 3/4 should be in parentheses to raise it to the 8th power, and we get an answer of 55,787, Dreamliner, over 2735. All right. Number 16 says expand and evaluate. This is neither arithmetic or geometric, so you can't actually use any one of the other friendly formulas. So literally I'm going to plug in a 5, a 6, and a 7, and an 8 into this. So let me kind of expand it first. So 2, and then it's 5 squared minus 5 times 5, plus, and then I'm going to go up to 6, so 2 times 6 squared minus 5 times 6, and then plus 2 times 7 squared minus 5 times 7, plus 2 times 8 squared minus 5 times 8. Okay? So if I multiply all that out, that's expanding it all out, and my evaluating it comes out to be 218. And that's your final answer. Okay? The next one, it says evaluate. It doesn't say expand, which is good because this goes from 3 to 27, but you guys should recognize this is arithmetic because it goes up or goes down by 4, so it's arithmetic. And what you're going to do is you need to find your first term and your last term and the number of terms. And if you do that, then you can plug it into the nice friendly formula S sub n equals, the average of the two, the extremes times the number of terms. So the first term, remember I plug a 3 into here, so the first term is going to be negative 4 times 3 minus 7. So negative 12 minus 7 is negative 19. That's your first term. And your last term is plugging in a 27 here. So negative 4 times 27 minus 7 is negative 115. So I guess I can show my work here. Negative 4 times 27 minus 7 is negative 115. And the number of terms, remember we talked about that? That's 27 minus 3 plus 1. So it's 27 minus 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Okay? And then I want to plug in my formula. So S sub, and now it's 25 terms, is equal to the first term plus the second, so minus 115 over 2 times the number of terms. Okay, and that comes out to be negative 1675. Okay, number 18, you guys should recognize this as geometric. And so R is negative 2, first term. Well, first term is plugging a 3 into there, so it's negative 2 cubed is negative 8 times negative 3 is positive 24. That's your first term. And R is, oh, I already said R there, and what else we need here? We need R and, N, right? Well, the number of terms is just 18 minus 3 plus 1. So 15 plus 1 is 16. So S sub 16 equals A sub 1, which is the first term, so it's 24 minus 24 times R, which is negative 2 to the nth power, and the nth power is 16 all over 1 minus a negative 2. Okay? And we put all that in our calculator, and we get S sub 16 is equal to negative 524, 280. Okay? Number 19, you invest $10,000. So now remember, you're using A sub n equals A sub 1 R to the n, not to the n minus 1, because we're talking about money. So you invest $1,000 in a savings account with an interest rate of 1.05%. Now be careful about that. Be careful. What is the value of the savings account in 50 years? Okay, so it's going to be A sub 50 equals $1,000 times my interest rate is 1 plus, and what's 1.05%? That's the tricky thing about it. It's 0.015. So 0.015. That's the 50th power. Okay, and then you just basically multiply all that out, and you get A sub 50 comes out to be 1,685.84, round to the nearest cent. Okay. Number 20, you purchase an airplane for $200,000. It depreciates. So remember, your R is going to be 1 minus 0.12, which is 0.88. So it's going to be A sub, in 25 years, A sub 25 is equal to 200,000. It's not a good investment either, a plane. Times 1 minus that, so the rate, so it's 0.88. And that's to the 25th power. Okay, so A sub 25 comes out to be $8,186.47. So that's pretty bad. I mean, well, I guess 25 years is a long time, right? But man, in 25 years, it's really, you bought it for 200 grand and it's worth like less than 10 grand. It's pretty bad. Yeah. Number 21, by investing $100 in Ford Motor Company, you can double your money every year. How many years until you have $100,000? Well, you're trying to get $100,000, so that's your A sub n, and your A sub 1 is $100 times R, and R, if I'm doubling my money, R is 2. And I want that to the nth power. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 100. Please don't do anything weird and multiply that 100 by 2. That's bad. So if I divide that by 100, I get 1,000 equals 2 to the n. Well, then I take the log of both sides, and I put the n in front, and I divide both sides by log of 2. So n comes up to log of 1,000 divided by log of 2, which comes out to be 9.97, and you always round up. So n comes out to be 10 years. Okay, that's how long it'll take you to double your money. It's not bad. Or how long it'll take you to have $100,000 if you double your money every year. So this number right here, math fans, at 2, if it was triple your money or quadruple your money, that's the number that changes. Okay, or if I'm putting a different amount in, that would be that and that. So just be careful what they're asking for. All right, find the sum. Well, first of all, it's dot, 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 so I know it's an infinite geometric series. So if I find my r value, it's 2 divided by -8, so r is -1/4. -1/2 divided by 2, still -1/4. And then a sub 1 is -8. So it's a sub, well, I want to find s sub infinity, right? S sub infinity is equal to a sub 1, which is -8 over 1 minus r, 1 over -1/4. So that changes to plus on the bottom, so it's -8 over 1 plus 1/4, so it's 5/4. And then basically if you do -8 times the reciprocal of that, you get -32/5, and that is the sum of that series. Okay, 23. Again, if I check r comes out to be 11 over 2 divided by 11 over 3. R comes out to be 3/2. So before you start plugging anything into the formula, you should recognize that this is greater than 1, and so it diverges. That's the only time you're going to tell me it diverges, math fans. If r is greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1, or less than or equal to -1. All right, 24. This is infinite geometric because there's an infinity sign there. So we need r. Well, that's easy. R is -2/3. And we need a sub 1. We need the first term. Well, let's plug in a 2 in there. So 3 times -2 over 3 squared. So that gives us 3 times 4/9. So if I multiply that together, it's a 1 and a 2, or 3. So the answer is 4/3. Okay, for a sub 1. And so what I'm trying to do now is I now have s sub infinity equals a sub 1, which is 4/3, over 1 minus a -2/3. Okay, and you simplify that and you get 4/5. Kind of a cool little formula. Okay, a couple more here, math fans. Find the four arithmetic means between -9 and 76. So I know it's arithmetic, and then you're going to put 4 blanks here and then 76. So this is a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5, a sub 6. So when I find out the information, I say 76 a sub n equals a sub 1 -9 plus d times n minus 1. So we're looking at that 6 there, so 6 minus 1. So basically 5d, and I add 9 to both sides, is 85, and I divide both sides by 5, and I get d is 17. So that means with that 17, I add 17 to this, and I get 8, and I add 17 to this, and I get 25, and I add 17 to that, and I get 42, and I add 17 to that, and I get 59. Just to check it, I add 17 to that, better get 76, and I do. Okay, so those numbers highlighted right here, those are my answers. Okay, so 3 geometric means, just same idea. So 16 blank 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 81. So this is a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5. And if I plug this in to find r, which I need to, it's 81 a sub n equals a sub 1 times n or times r to the n minus 1, so to the 5 minus 1. So I divide by 16, and I get r to the 4th equals 81 over 16. Can't simplify it, but if I take the 4th root now, so go up here, and I get r equals, and then remember it's an even root, so it's plus or minus. This is the cube, or the 4th root of 81 is 3, and the 4th root of 16 is 2. So that's really the number you multiply everything by. So and there are two sets of numbers here. So let me just kind of draw this out. It's 16, 1, 2, 3, 81, and 16, 1, 2, 3, 81. So multiplying, let's do the positive 3 halves first and then the negative 3 halves. So if I multiply 16 times 3 halves, I get 24. Times another 3 halves is 36, times another one is 54, times another one gives me 81. So that one checks out. And then the negative is just as easy. It's negative 3 halves times 16 is negative 24, times negative 24 is positive 36, times negative 3 halves is negative 54, times negative 3 halves is positive 81. So that one checks out as well. So those, you really have your two sets of answers here. You have this set and this set. Okay. And this is a great problem. I love this problem. A cannon shoots a bouncing ball straight up. So remember in last night's homework or another night's homework, you dropped the bouncing ball and you had to break it up into two sequences. Well, with this one, math fans, if a cannon shoots a ball up straight to 100 feet and it comes down and starts to bounce and it bounces a quarter of the height, find the total distance traveled. So here it is. It goes up. You shoot up 100. Doesn't it come down the exact same amount, 100? And then it bounces a quarter of the height. So it goes up 25%, down that, up, down, up, down. Okay? So what's going on is the one we had before that, you had one, you had actually one down, right? So one down, dropping it from the hill, and then up, down like that. And then up, down like that. But here's the deal. These are the same. These two are the same. Because when you shoot a cannonball up, it's going to come the same distance down. So the nice thing about this one is I don't have to do two sequences or two series. These are both a sub 1 is 100. So what I can do is just find out one infinite, because it is infinite. It's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Technically, it doesn't stop. So it's really s sub infinity equals a sub 1, which is 100, over 1 minus a 1/4. So 100 divided by 3/4 is 133 1/3 feet. That's for the ups. And the downs is, again, you just multiply it by 2. So you get 266 2/3 feet. Okay? So that's it. That's, it's a good worksheet, and it's, it's about a 33-minute review with it as well, but hopefully it's helped you out a little bit, band fans. All right? That's it. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.